Sinem, thank you so much for joining me. I'm not going to begin with giving you an introduction. I'd much prefer if you started by introducing yourself and then we'll dive straight in.
Yeah, let me give a short introduction. Obviously, super excited to be sitting here at a digital table with Benjamin from Troopl. So I am Sinem Tuncer. I'm 34 years old, living in Amsterdam, and a super tech fanatic, I would say.
So a super tech fanatic, naturally the first question I have for you is, where did you get your start in tech?
After my graduation, I started working for German companies by coincidence, but mostly digitally in e-commerce companies. So these models are called flash sale models, and they are private website, and there are e-tailers. So with looking very cool, for example, they try to make designer interior furniture that is coming from excess inventory for a more reasonable price to the consumers. That's how I started my tech career. I had the opportunity there to set up the dropshipping as a process for suppliers. This was my first experience involving in product, and if I now look back at it, it was very childish. It was portals while building the process in Google Sheets, which I was sharing with our supply. So imagine we were working with a specific designer. I could track that person until the end when they delivered the stock to the users, and we could also give that same information back to our consumers. And after that, they have productized the drop shipping in general in our overall product. And this gave me like chicken. Yeah, I don't know. I was super happy about it. Yeah.
What an interesting start. And I know that theme of excess inventory is something that, again, you're working with a lot. So tell me a little bit about that journey from that first role working with those German companies. What were some of the moments through your career that brought you now to founding Arkive?
Yeah, very good question. So after my e-commerce experience, I wanted to do something a little bit more challenging. So for me, the logical step was to move back from Berlin to Amsterdam, as this was also my native language, or else I would have been around more commercial types of startups, and I really wanted to go more deeper into tech. So I came back, and I was lucky to be working in a company that was working with geospatial data. This is also where I done my biggest career steps, which I will tell a little bit later about my most exciting moments in my career. But working in geospatial data really made me learn to work with external factors, internal factors, process, building from process to products, and had a great team of leaders there that were really tech driven. And yeah, the best leader is how you actually learn the job, I would say, that can see how you develop as a person and what you are very good at. And that happened to me, but I was really lucky. So I got a lot of opportunities, a lot of growth opportunities within the organization. And I've been actually playing it out until we got acquired by number 2 in the industry, because there were only 3 companies in the world that were doing what we were doing. And simply what we were doing was, when you and I are navigating on TomTom or Google Maps, and we're looking for a location, which is called geospatial data, that's the data we were pushing. So the Shell that you are looking for, a gas station, those were our clients, for example. And obviously there's a lot of exciting stuff around location data, because that's how we are going to navigate selfless drivingless cars in the future.
That's an interesting consideration, isn't it? That all these mountains of data that you've been working with actually have this whole other application for autonomous driving. That's interesting.
100%. I learned that a lot with working with Google and going to their logic a lot, and everything, how they build, what they do, it actually has a higher purpose, like an actual vision. And I also really believe that companies with actual visions and their product extend to the actual vision, I mean, that's when you're doing a really great job. And yeah, that's what you also feel. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me, what does it feel like?
Yeah, that's what I felt with location data. In the beginning, I was just putting locations on the map, and I was super
Mm,
excited about it to make it published in all the different platforms. But yeah, learning in this journey about that, these dots with the map makers are actually for these cars, and that from
mm,
one point going to the other point should be without errors and should be on the right roads and etc. And we were only doing the latitudes and longitudes, but you actually also have the 3D going up in the sky.
mm.
So if something is on a top level, how do you get there on a map? So
Uh-huh.
these are all
Sure.
the topics that they were building, but also the shopping platform that they have, putting businesses on the map, making money of the
Yeah.
hairdresser. It all comes from the revenue streams that they secretly are building in
So
overall.
that's, I think the theme I'm hearing there is that you've got this, vision when you're working on something like that. You know that your data input and these seemingly mundane projects are actually contributing to a much larger vision. I think that's really interesting, and I want to now bring this to your role as the founder of Arkive. Maybe I'll start by asking a question. If I were to ask you in an elevator, what's the vision for Arkive? What would you tell me?
I would say bring circularity to the beauty industry. And
Cool.
there's obviously a very clear product vision there
Mm,
underneath it, um, which maybe can take me to the moment how we came to Archive, if I
yeah,
may
please.
proceed.
Yeah.
So yeah, the vision of Archive is bringing circularity to the beauty industry. And this resulted from my career path doing a digital transformation project for offline marketplace, who was doing a lot with excess inventory. Finding out in that time that the beauty industry is destroying approximately 20 to 80%. And I was in those times, I'm not an
So
activist.
so destroying 20 to 80% of the physical product that they're manufacturing.
Yeah, so what
Wow.
they produce 130% more on yearly basis. Sell-through rate is averagely 25%, but we destroy approximately 20 to 8%. And a part gets lost in black markets and a part gets lost in destruction, depending on the different use cases, what the product experiences in the supply chain. So that's the moment when I thought, this is crazy, but at the same time, I saw it as an opportunity to do something more meaningful, more making my own decisions, and going into my own area with a product that I also have as a woman, not never been a real makeup girl, but admiring it more and more, I would say, in the industry. But also noticing that this industry had severely issues with not being technical, actually. And with the technical knowledge that I had, and my co-founder actually also has, and what we are building for the beauty industry, something more meaningful, but also making it measurable instead of destroying it. Do personalized marketing targeting to make the unsellable sellable in a very efficient way. I mean, these are all terms in our product vision that we are bringing, and we are bringing algorithms to this whole
Mm.
industry. And so it's, yeah, I think as well, like when you then would ask me, are you afraid of competitors? Yeah, you can see gorillas and Flink, what is happening there, for example, but
Hmm.
I am not afraid because obviously we have our secrets a little bit, what we are building with tech
Sure.
partnerships we always had in Silicon Valley. But at the same time, um, I'm not afraid because this industry would have already been more technical if they could have.
Mm.
So I think we are a huge added value for the industry if
Mm.
they see us not as a competitor, I would say.
Yeah, really, really cool. So if you were to describe to me where Archive is at today, what's exciting, what's happening right now, what's the products that anyone listening to this or watching this can interact with at the moment?
I think what is most exciting for me means where the most challenges were coming from.
Mm.
First of all, building something that the industry was not used to. So it's actually a little bit of bringing them into an outlet philosophy, and they don't want that
Okay.
for many reasons. But yeah, destruction is also not the solution. So
Mm.
bringing in the supply side was really tough, but having almost a burnout in December and where we are today, we have already 45 partnerships going very strong at the moment on that side. Great. The other side was I started this journey with bootstrapping myself, being very ambitious as well, noticing that this was not the thing, and closing our funding and now preparing for our fundraiser is another topic that is very exciting, because this will bring us closer to our vision and will increase our network a little bit more to convince the supply side of the business. Sure. The other topic, I think what is really exciting is, of course, we have two more pillars, which is the sales side of the business and our product. And we can really see our product is maturing and kind of like shaping. We are 100% not there yet where we want to be, but we will start building custom as soon as our CTO is also in. Right. But on the business side and the sales side of the business as well, we can see our users are really reposting our orders and telling that they save products from destruction, which is awesome to see, to build that community at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's really fascinating. You know, it was a question that was brewing in my mind there. It was like, you know, what does it mean to be a customer of Arkive? And I think you've just answered that. You know, I get to participate in, you know, reducing waste, reducing excess, you know, stock that's just going to be put into waste just by being a customer. And I think that's a really, really noble thing. I think customers like to feel connected to something a bit bigger than themselves as well.
Yeah, especially Gen Z, I would say, because that's what we focus on, and that's complicated to target. And they want to be rewarded, they want to have high fives, and they want to feel a part of a sustainable journey most of the times. And 100%. Buying stuff from Douglas is great, but buying stuff from Arkive means you're saving a product and seeing the numbers going up on a platform. So you are a part of that journey, literally helping us. Do you know Ecosia? It's like a Google.
Yeah.
And you plant a tree, I would say that we do a little bit similar, only then you save a product and you see those numbers going up there as well. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And it's a simple switch of choice, isn't it? You know, when someone decides to use Ecosia instead of Google, it's a simple choice that participates in this movement. So, okay, that's a really good way to look at Arkive. So I want to actually, before we get to this next question, you mentioned something to me that I'm curious about. You're bringing on a CTO at this stage. Can you tell me a little bit about what it is that you're looking to bring into the company from your technical lead at the moment?
So obviously, I also had an experience in studying at the MIT and at CEDRA, and but I also noticed that I cannot, even if I want to be that micromanager, I cannot look in overall. So all of our visions and strategies are very clear, and we're trying to translate that into the operations at the moment and find the right people that can actually do those topics. So at the moment, from a commercial standpoint, I am the person that is looking over that. Because in the end, you're always telling it as a founder, the passion, the best way yourself to the supply side and the other partnerships that we experience. But then we need a real dedicated person looking over the product constantly. And the sales side, we have a CMO at the moment who is a growth hacker as well, very tech savvy too. But a very technical team that is going to be able to reach together. We will be able to reach the stars. And I am definitely very good at product and those kind of aspects, but we also need that CTO that is going to help us create a scalable environment. Are we going for a cloud approach, or are we going fully on private databases? And there are so many questions you're asking yourself around these matters. So it's super nice to give that opportunity to someone who loves doing those topics and is going to build that department for us.
Cool. Well, I'll be looking forward to hearing about that search and that journey and that announcement when it happens.
Very tough, by the way.
we'll mark that today is September 15th, 2021, and then we'll stay up to date with the news there with your addition of your CTO. So, Sinem, I've got two more questions for you to bring us towards a close here. The first one is, I'd really love for you to share a couple of moments that come to mind that are pivotal moments in your career where perhaps you changed your mind about something, you saw something in a different way, or you maybe changed a behavior of yours? Do any moments jump out?
I would say two involve me working in a geospatial data environment a lot with Silicon Valley and very passionate about Google, always have been. That when I found glitches in their location data API and their algorithms, they made a change from the development team in Silicon Valley. And this was something that also triggered that they wanted to give me a job at the moment. But I was so passionate about Uberall and Nevitz in those times that I felt I was going to be only part of the location data. And with this site, I could look at it in overall. And that was awesome about it. And but that complement triggered that we got a competitive advantage from the other two in the industry, and we got acquired by number two. And the first thing I needed to migrate were all the white listings I arranged for our company from Silicon Valley to there. So these are things that my CEO came to me and thanked me for, especially. But it was a very exciting moment, I would say, in my career. And I even thought about, should I regret that I never took it? But the day where I am today, my mother always says everything happens for a reason. I'm also very excited about. So
for sure.
That was really awesome. Of course, the visits there. But the other thing was graduating from my MicroMaster at the MIT, doing a supply chain management technology and systems. And this was during my career. So it was quite tough to have that working like every day, but still studying in the evenings and still wanting to do fun things in the weekend. And especially when you're young. So this was quite tough, but also felt like, did it, nailed it. So this was great kind of to got that as well. Yeah.
So that's cool. So I'm going to recap those two things. The first one, what I heard was actually giving the feedback, pointing out the opportunity, doing it in a way that people in the particularly in the leadership group, you mentioned you worked with so many fantastic leaders, and I think a great sign of leadership is someone who's open to that kind of feedback and taking it on and making a change of the product. So I think that's a really great example where you were able to do that and influence a change. And then secondly, dedicating time and energy towards learning. I think those are two really great takeaways from your very impressive career so far, which brings me now to my final question, which is, if you could go back to your younger self, and of course we're still young, that's what we just decided. We're still both very young. But if you could go back just a little bit, and give some advice to your younger self, what would you tell yourself?
I would say that every act is coming from a purpose, driven by a particular organizational force. So it's easy always to blame issues or problems to colleagues or your seniors, but it's really important to realize that it's a tough journey for all of us. And the reason why I really wanted to highlight this is I got a lot of promotions in my life because I'm a fighter, but I didn't always make friends in my career. And I don't say that that's also the great path, but I think if you really listen to where problems are coming from and you want to make a change, that's great, that's assertive, but really try to listen to why the reasons are that other people are not agreeing with you. It's never because they hate you or whatsoever. It's most of the time that they also have an KPI and they also need to improve stuff. And if you all sit with each other and first listen really to each other with, why do you decide a yes or a no? Or what is the best solution for this? You will always come to the best resolution. So it actually says is be more patient and ask more questions in stressful moments. And learn to work, to collaborate. And I think that's going to be very kind of like a future thing anyway. It's never siloed or hierarchic. Work with each other, listen to each other, and try to find a solution with the different expertise with each other and different levels, I would say.
I think that's incredible advice when you say be patient and ask more questions. That really hits home for me. It really resonates.
Yeah.
whilst I would love to ask you so many more questions, I'm afraid we're pretty much out of time. So I'll have to, save that for the next time we chat. Maybe we do another one of these, or perhaps it is indeed in Amsterdam. Today, you've given some really great insights that I really enjoyed. I look forward to spending some time reflecting on it. Thank you so much for the chat, Sinem, and best of luck with Arkive.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Cheers.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.